it seemed like the U.S.-Iran relation was getting closer and closer, up to this point where Ayatollah Ali Khamenei came forward and said, no more, I'm going to institute a ban on any negotiation with the United States. These are big words. He already touched upon that issue not too long ago, last month, when he said that he was looking into cutting these negotiations, but this is an outright ban. Moving forward, no one is permitted to negotiate with the United States. This is a response to what the moderate President Hassan Rouhani expressed, that he really wanted to get in the table of negotiations with the United States on domestic issues, mainly what pertains to the conflict in Syria, where obviously the U.S. is supporting a different side than Iran, that is supporting the Assad regime along with Russia. Now, the highest authority in the Islamic Republic, Margaret, saying no more. The U.S. and the Western influence is too strong right now. This was being said to the military, to the Navy commanders, which I think is very symbolic.
That is symbolic, but we have to keep in mind that the Iranian population doesn't necessarily align with the values of Ayatollah Khamenei. So it's very, you know, there's a disparity going on, and we need to get to the crux of this. And I know you have some numbers regarding the population and the age group and how they feel, but we're talking about 45 million people under 30 in this country. And they don't necessarily align with what this man thinks and says. I
think that illustrates very, very well the domestic situation in Iran. On one side, we have the old school guard, that is represented by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, that for many is kind of obligated to have this stance because he represents the old school and the old guard. But we have now a lot more U.S., Western influence, younger Iranis that don't want to live secluded of the West. They want to be able to do business with the West. They want to be educated in the West. They want to see better human rights, better equal rights in the population. That, of course, they will clash with what Khamenei has to say about the issues.
There's also a clash between the Ayatollah and Rouhani himself. I mean, you can see this in reports coming out. It's like, did they just say two different things? Am I following this correctly? Maybe you're right, that this has to be some sort of hardline stance that he has to take to toe a line that he's always towed. But you know, times are a-changing, and 60% of their population under 30. I'm wondering how long this rhetoric will stand.
And it's funny because for the last 18 months, he was very supportive, at least tacitly, of the negotiation for the nuclear deal, obviously because it's of interest to the population. We're talking about crippling sanctions that will be lifted if Iran follows his part of the deal. Now, this whole situation has been blown out of proportion because on the last United Nations General Assembly, the foreign minister of Iran actually shook hands with Obama. It was off the record, it was not a planned meeting, and he got a lot of heat domestically, included the top leader of the Islamic country, where he said this is not acceptable. This is the example of the Western influence, where they want to change the way we look at things, and they want to change, you know, our perception of who's the enemy. I think that we, like you said, we are looking at a generational gap, a generational conflict that we'll see grow in the upcoming decades.
That hopefully doesn't look at the world in such linear terms as who's the enemy. You know, even that phrase, it caught me when you just said it. Hopefully we're talking about a population that's coming up that doesn't see the world, you know, through this lens. That's my only hope.
Yeah, I think they don't. I think it's important for us to be open to the idea that younger generations of Iranians are actually ready to play well with the West, and they are willing to do business with the West in the terms that are beneficial to all of us. But we want to know your opinion. Share it below in the comment section, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the Lip TV.